Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Menopause Made Easy with Tanya. I have a wonderful, wonderful guest on with me today. Her name is Cherie, and she is an author extraordinaire, also known as the Juice Lady. And we're not going to be talking about juicing today, though. We're going to be talking about something that's very relevant to what's happening right now. And I have talked about this in the past, but it's about seed oils. And we're going to dive deep. And we can obviously, I see your book up there. We can obviously, also dive into juicing if you want to chat a little bit about that. So thank you, Cherie, for joining us today. And as we go through, you can weave in some of your stories. But for those that are new, what exactly are seed oils? And like, how do they differ from what most people call vegetable oils, which we've really been conditioned to, use any oil and not think that anything's wrong with any of the oils that we use? So enlighten us, please.
Seed oils, actually, the name came about in about 2010. Prior to that, it was vegetable oils. And it was vegetable oils because of slick marketing campaigns
Hmm.
way back when they took smelly, rotten cottonseed oil and said, let's do something with this waste because we don't know what to do with these oils. So these seeds. So let's make oil out of it. And the cottonseed oil then was dark and smelly. And they said, well, this, is good for machinery, but not for people. People will never buy this. So let's refine it to where it's clear and no odor and no taste and just throw it out there. And for our marketing campaigns, let's call it vegetable oil because the American homemaker, it was usually the women then making the food, not always, but usually, love vegetables. So we'll call it vegetable oil. It was just from seeds. And from cottonseed, they went to corn and soy and safflower and sunflower. And eventually canola came along, which is rapeseed and grapeseed oil. And most of those were touted as heart healthy, but they were anything but heart healthy. They were refined so badly with such high heat and chemicals and degumming agents, and on it goes. There's a laundry list of all the stuff that these poor seeds go through before they even get in a jar. And then they get heated more in the restaurants and the kitchens. And so we have a very, very toxic oil, but that's how it came about. And why they changed the name to seed oils in 2010, I'm not sure, but that is a more accurate, probably, description than.
Hmm. Maybe because they'd already roped us in. And
Yeah.
so, you know what? They did their marketing campaign and they bought in. And you know what? When you start with one thing, it's very hard to shift a belief, shift a habit, right? Shift how you cook with things. And you have been literally brainwashed that these are good for you, they're vegetables. So now everybody else is crackers because why? Why would they put something on the market that's not good for us? Why would they do that?
I know. That's the question we all ask. Well, as they say, follow the money, right?
Yeah.
Because it is a big business and it is projected to be a $600 billion business by 2031. So that ship is not going to turn fast and it's not going to go down easily for
Yeah.
sure. They're going to fight with everything they've got.
So I always say, listen, I've been duped many a times in the health space. So I will say that because you put your trust out there to people who think they have your health in their interest, right? But they really don't. They have sickness and profit, right? And so I'm not saying everybody is a bad guy. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that there's certain times, like for example, if I recommend a company to somebody of products that I've really enjoyed, I always say to them, watch to see if it changes hands because it could start out as a great company, but it could be bought up by another company, and slowly over time, they can just squeeze out some of the healthier oils, start to do a combo oil, and then it's a full bad oil, right?
Ex-
And so these seed oils, these vegetable oils are cheaper. They're cheaper, and this is why they're in every single, well, they're not in every single, but they're in a lot. Like the majority of what we eat is seed oils. But why should we care? Honestly, why should we care? Like, I have my opinions because it's not like you have something with seed oil and you drop dead the next day, but these seed oils are not good for our cells. And as I tell everybody in every show, we are just cells. We are just cells. So why are these seed oils not good for our cellular being?
There are several reasons, and I love that you asked me that question because it's so confusing to people. But I want to just talk a little bit about biochemistry here because as carbons and hydrogens link up for these polyunsaturated vegetable oils, there are double bonds in there, at least two. And those double bonds can be broken very easily with heat and treatment and chemicals and all the stuff they go through. When those bonds are broken, it creates toxic byproducts, lipid peroxides, aldehydes. We know these as free radicals. Free radicals attack our cells. They're not just neutral and floating through the system, they attack our cells. Also, these are inferior fats. These are not the stable fats like you would find in coconut oil or olive oil or beef tallow or even butter, which we were told to fear. Fear beef tallow, fear butter, fear even ghee, the oil of butter. Oh my goodness. But we were supposed to be afraid of those. Actually, those are stable fats. The animal fats don't have any double bonds. Avocado oil, coconut oil, olive oil have one, but much more durable and stable than the seed oils, which are two or more. So anyway, what happens when our diet is mostly consisting of the wrong type of oils, the wrong type of structure, even they get inserted because the body's going to use what you give it. If it doesn't have the right fat, it will choose a fat that you gave it that's there in and available, and it's going to insert that fat in the cell membrane. Well, what is the deal with the cell membrane? It's mostly saturated fats. We have omega 3s in there. We have the good fats. Well, when the structure is suddenly being replaced, rebuilt with the wrong fats, we don't have healthy cells any longer. And what about the fat around the heart?
Yeah.
That is mainly C16 and C18. That stands for saturated fat. That's in coconut oil, very rich in coconut oil, but it's in the animal fats as well. It's in a number of the fats. But what does that fat do in times of stress? That's what your body draws on. But what if it's inferior fat there that has replaced the cell membranes? It's not going to have the right fat to draw on in times of stress. So what in the world happens? You hear stories all the time. Oh, this guy was out jogging and he was really into health and he was on a low-fat diet. Oh, there's a big signal to me. And he dropped over dead and no one can figure it out. And I'm saying, wow, we got to look at the science because all of these people have been told this is the heart healthy way to go. This is the heart healthy diet. And then on top of that, the polyunsaturated oils, which are the seed oils, are very high in omega 6s. Omega 6s are good in the right proportion, but they're not good in a wrong proportion. And we've got about 15 to 1 omega 6 to omega 3. We should have about 1 to 1 to 4 to 1 of
Mhm.
omega 6 to omega 3. And what does that do? That creates inflammation throughout the body when you've got an overabundance of omega 6 and a little bit, maybe almost no intake of omega 3s. That's the American diet. And so that is going to cause a lot of problems, right down to the cellular level as well. Two big factors of why we should be really minimizing these seed oils or getting them out completely.
So, I have done, oh, I should write down the questions as I'm going through because I had two great questions and they'll come back. But, oh, I know one of them. Um, but this one I wanted to say first. When you are, oh, like I've heard that seed oils have a 3-year shelf life in your body. So maybe you can address that.
Yes.
And I know for myself, so I eat out at restaurants, and I know that 99% of the restaurants I eat out at probably, well, they're using seed oils, right?
They
So
are.
even Yeah, so even if I keep my home clean, and I don't want to become a hermit, I want to enjoy life. So I find it infuriating at times that I cannot go out
Mhm.
and avoid the seed oils, right? And so my whole thing is what's the best that I can do? What's the best I can do, right? And so, I'm not going to tell everybody I make every meal at home and I never go out because that just wouldn't be honest. So I think about these things sometimes, and I have to put them out of my head. So it's like this ignorance of, knowing what I'm consciously doing and
Mhm.
choosing to do it, but also trying to send good vibrational messages to my body that my social time is outweighing, which may be a lie, but we do what we have to do. And so, how do we live life with these seed oils? And I know some restaurants are coming up. Like there's more restaurants that are advertising no seed oils, but they're the minority.
Yeah.
There's even products at home that I know, even though I've minimized them, they still have seed oils. Like there's certain things I cannot find. And so maybe, you know, I'm just talking realistically, people are going to be ingesting seed oils. I think it's like, how can you minimize the
Mhm.
amount of seed oil in your diet? So maybe you could address that. But also, the other thing that I heard the other day was that when you're cooking with, say, avocado oil or coconut oil or olive oil, and there's certain smoking points for each oil, but that a lot of people are actually creating bad oils just by cooking because they're too high of a temperature. So, true, yes. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I can see sometimes where people just go, forget
Yeah.
it, forget it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just going to die when I die because how can I possibly live in this world and avoid seed oils when they're literally in everything? So, I know for myself, I work to minimize it. So this is what I was saying. Like if I look at products and I notice they're coming in, or maybe I allow myself like two products that I just can't give up. So I think it's because I always say to everybody, you are the CEO of your own health, is for me to be consciously aware of the choices that I'm making and to do the best that I can. So that's a lot of loaded information in there, but we need realistic strategies because it's just, you know, and here's my last point is that consumers hold the key to change. And
Yeah.
the more we are educated and empowered about seed oils, vegetable oils, horrible foods, and we stop buying, or we reach out, like the food babe, she's very powerful. We
Mhm.
reach out to companies and say, I would eat your product if you didn't put the seed oils in it. And you know, if those things, that's a very advocate role. My role is more avoidance and just doing podcast episodes to empower people. But all right, what would you like to say?
Woohoo. Wow. That was packed. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Food Babe because she has written an endorsement for our book and she is on the cover.
Yay!
And I am totally behind what she's doing and lobbying with companies. So, back to the real world and where we live, I'm right with you. I want to go out occasionally. I want to enjoy dinner with friends or a happy hour or whatever we're doing. And I don't want to have to sit there and think there's probably nothing on this menu that I can order. So, we do our best, right? As much as you can, avoid fried foods when you eat out. That's
Mhm.
start. But more than that, and not unless you eat out all the time, and there are some people who eat out almost every day.
Oh, oh
They're
yeah.
just in a hurry, they're through the drive-through in the morning for breakfast, they're out for lunch, maybe a fast food restaurant for lunch, maybe they're ordering a pizza for dinner. And this is not that unusual. What I'm saying, I mean, that is where Americans are at. They're busy. But that's where we need to begin to take some control of I'm going to make more food for myself than I buy out. That's where we can start right there. And buy good oils, only good oils. And what are the good oils? They're the fruit and nut oils. And you just named three of them: the olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. There's also almond oil and macadamia oil, but you don't see those as much. Ghee, oil of butter, is another great one. Sesame seed oil is good. Cold pressed. You want to get cold pressed.
Hmm.
All of these are listed in my book. If people are saying, oh, I'm just totally overwhelmed, um, the truth about seed oils is going to have a whole list for you with smoke points. I'm glad you brought that up because we can bring home a beautiful oil, put it on the stove. I've done this. Turn the heat on, turn around, do something. You turn back and it's smoking. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
okay. This created toxic byproduct in my own kitchen. So, coconut oil and olive oil, you have to be a little more um, low temperature cognizant. Then, avocado oil has this higher smoke point. It can go up to even almost 500 degrees for high 400s. That's why it's recommended for deep frying, even for restaurants that are trying to make a changeover and say, there's no way I could get enough beef tallow. I mean, we'd be 2 years out trying to order it. There isn't enough on the market. Well, there is enough avocado oil. And so you can go to that for high heat cooking. Um, Sesame oil, people use that a lot for stir fry, but it will smoke more. So I would say avocado oil, if you're doing some high heat, like some wok, stir frying, or you're turning up the temperature for whatever reason, searing something, um, either beef tallow or avocado oil. And there are people who say, well, I don't want any animal products. So then you go to avocado oil is your one with the highest smoke point.
Hmm.
But we do have to live life. So, what about the products? You're right. You go to the store, I go with my magnifying glass because I'm always
Label
reading,
reader.
and they've got little teeny print on those labels.
Hmm.
I do recommend buy a little magnifying glass. It really does help. But just be more aware of what you're buying, and like crackers, even at the health food store. I have a hard time. I'm looking at gluten free. I'm looking at it says organic. I've got my magnifying glass and boom, there's seed oil. But I found Mary's crackers, and Mary's has a wide variety of options, from the original seed cracker to even the black sesame. I love those. But Mary's has no seed oil. For salad dressings, people are saying, what in the world? Almost everything has seed oil. But
Primal Organics is good.
oh,
Hmm.
there you go. And Bragg's has all olive oil, organic olive oil, and apple cider vinegar. And I think Paul Newman has one vinaigrette with just olive oil without a seed oil in it. How about mayonnaise? There's a new one I just saw. I was going through Costco, avocado mayo. I need
I
to look
have that. Yep.
there we go. So, I mean, there's hope, right? There's hope that we can have something. There are more chips. Not that I'm a big fan of chips, but hey, I'm going to serve them once in a while. I've got people coming over
Hmm.
and I'm going to serve them. But there's more options: avocado oil, olive oil chips. I even saw beef tallow chips the other day.
I think there's a brand called Matza, so, and they do beef tallow. So I'll cook with some beef tallow at home. The thing I always try and bring people back to is eat whole food. Because if you
Yeah.
eat a whole avocado, you're already winning.
Yeah.
You get your leafy greens. And because I'm in the health and fitness industry, people will say to me, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating salads. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if you knew how much bad dressing was
Oh,
going on that salad when you are out, you would stop or minimize the salads when you go out. Have your salads at home or bring your own dressing. Yeah,
they're
because
all
it
jars.
yeah, it might be like I've seen people put salad dressing on salads and I'm shocked just at the amount.
Yeah.
Um so this is these marketing messages that we might be duped into thinking that we're eating healthy because there's a lot of healthy products, everybody, that are not healthy, but they
Mhm.
are marketed as healthy. So, this is again, it's helpful to read your book. It's helpful to work with a coach. It doesn't take much time just to educate yourself, but it's having the time. And, I talk a lot about the fact that, we have been what's a word, programmed to think that ordering a pizza is faster than making some steamed broccoli with some nice butter on top and a hard-boiled egg for dinner, or grilling a steak. Like we must wake up to the programming that healthy eating is expensive, because it is not on many levels. And yes, there are some healthy things that might be a little bit more expensive, but you're paying for it on the other end. If you make bad choices, you're paying for it with, like you said, heart attack. Your brain is 60% fat. Like, your cell membrane with the fat is so important. And I just think we have gone through a tragedy of the last 30 years with this low fat, no fat movement, and
Tragedy.
tragedy. And we're seeing it unfold now with mental decline. Um,
Oh,
yeah, there's no question in my mind,
mhm.
none at all, with just the amount of sugar. And then you bring in the bad fats. And so, again, the CEO of your health, you must take it upon yourself to educate what's going on. So,
Yes. I'm so
mhm.
glad you brought up mental decline because in our book, we cover research on dementia and Alzheimer's and direct links with seed oils to and studies. We have all sorts of studies in that chapter on how seed oils are linked to all these different conditions, from metabolic disorders to mood disorders, anxiety and dementia and Alzheimer's, and even aggressive behavior and homicide, no less. So there is a lot of detriment. You mentioned our brains having a lot of fat. They do, and they have a lot of cholesterol. And people that are on anti-cholesterol drugs, cholesterol lowering drugs, it's terrible. It is just opening them up to a world of disease and decline. And so, what do we do to turn this around?
Yeah.
Replays, because when you've done the bad thing and you start doing the good thing and you didn't know before and now you know the truth is going to set your cells free, because when you provide the good fats as it's needed over time, it is going to get the good fats and replace the bad fats with the good fats in the cell membranes throughout your body, and it's going to start turning your health around. I had a young woman I worked with who had migraine headaches, awful migraine headaches. She has 6 children, and no one could figure out what was going on. And then she read about seed oils, got them all out of her diet as much as she could. Migraine headaches are totally gone, totally
Hmm.
gone. No more migraines. So there are rewards that we reap from doing these good things, and then start taking omega 3s, because we're all, probably all of us, so deficient. I mean, we don't eat the seeds and nuts like we used to. We don't, have the whole grains, the whole and the fatty fish. And we're just not eating those things that replenish or supply omega 3s. So get a good flax oil, like Barlean's is a great one. I take a tablespoon or two every night. You can do evening primrose oil, hemp oil. You can eat the salmon. You can get maybe a wild caught salmon meal once a week. Some people like to take fish oil. I recommend you take it from the bottle rather than capsules, because
Hmm.
it's fresher. But get some omega 3s in your diet, because it's going to begin to bring balance between that way out of balance omega 6 and so little omega 3s. We need to bring that all back into balance. And of course, we have no measuring point for this is where your omegas, I mean, this is where
Hmm.
you stand on omega 6 and omega 3. We don't have that, but we just do our best, right? And we can bring balance to our bodies. How you know that? Your body suddenly doesn't seem to be aging like it was. You seem to be feeling better. You don't have the joint pain that you did. You're sleeping better. Your thoughts are even clearer, more focused. You're just able to face a day with more joy and enthusiasm and energy. And that is something I hear from people all over. Oh, wow, I'm so tired, right? So you start giving your body the good stuff, the right oils and the vegetables, and of course juicing is my big thing of
Yeah.
what get the right vegetables. You start noticing a big difference.
Yeah. I just think oh, I just don't even know where to start. You know, I use 1980 as like, I mean, you could go back a little bit more, but if you look at 1980 and you look at television shows and you just look at how we looked back then, right? Compared to how we look now. And even though people think that they're eating the same thing, we're not eating the same thing. You can take a label of a product from 1980 to now, and it's not the same thing. So again, you have to decide, are you willing to do a little bit of work for the health of yourself and your family?
Mhm.
Because I just watched my stepmother, who died at the age of 73 from Alzheimer's, which I
Oh,
say to people, I feel like I lost her 3 years ago when we stopped having any meaningful conversation at all.
yes.
And I have been, um, I do you like MCT oil?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
so
do. It's so good for you.
there's a YouTube video of me probably in 2014 talking about the importance of MCT oil. And again, that's that health, the C18, I believe it is, right? Which,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yes.
right? And how important that was. But I think sometimes there is such, I want people to understand what a machine the food industry is.
Mhm.
And this is North America because I am like I live in Ontario. It is a machine
Mhm.
that spits out and manipulates us so that we lose our intuition or our being of ourselves to trust ourselves,
Yes.
right? And so I really, it's not any kind of craziness. It is just understanding that you have the power to decide what comes in your house. Like
Yes.
you do. Nobody's telling you. So if you just took one afternoon just to go through your pantry and have a look and to be like, this is what I did, and I do coaching with people, and I say, get out all your products that have seed oils in them. Okay.
Mhm.
Crackers, cookies, a lot of processed food, salad dressings, and healthy things that you don't think have them. Just pull everything out, put them on your table, and go, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this in my life? No, no, yes, no, no, no. And then you just make a decision. You're not supporting those companies anymore. You're not buying those products. That's what I did probably, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I do it every year because, like I said, companies change, ingredients labels change. And I just made a commitment to myself that my health is more important, right? And so again, I don't live under a rock, so I'm not perfect, but I'm not trying, I am doing my very best.
Mhm.
And so I really want people to understand, take the ownership back. And if you are not healthy, and my whole thing is vibrant living, vibrant, if you are not buzzing, I got
Yeah.
into juicing. I used to teach juicing classes, green smoothie classes. I was on a total kick for a while. My mother had cancer. I was like juicing for her. But I have a very balanced diet, so I don't just juice all the time. But boy, it was really yummy. But I'm just like, if you are not well, that is not normal. And if you go and see somebody and they say that your lifestyle has nothing to do with it, your diet has nothing to do with it, go somewhere else.
Yes.
Because what you put in your mouth has a major influence on your cellular health, and you are just cells.
Absolutely. And I applaud you for that. What we eat is directly, well, and what we think
Right, yeah,
that
what we think. Yeah.
directly related to our health and how our body functions. And it's just
Ugh,
um, terrible, unconscionable to me that doctors say, oh, yes, you were diagnosed with this, but your lifestyle, what you ate, what you did had nothing to do with it. Come on, it had everything to do with it. But not to lay guilt on anybody, here's hope that if
yeah.
you made some wrong choices and you got here, you can make some right choices. And that's what I did years ago. I knew my wrong choices when I started studying, and they got me there. And I thought, okay, my good choices are going to get me out. And they did.
Mm-hmm.
Chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, and I was so bad off. I couldn't work. I'd sleep 12 hours, get up sick, tired, drag around, feel like I had the flu all the time, ached all over. And I was in my 20s. Come on, and doctors were saying, "Oh, it's all in your head," or "You need to take antibiotics." Well, I knew none of that. None of that was going to help me. So I started researching, and I found juicing, and I found that I was a sugaraholic, a junk food lover. I went through the little drive-through at the end of the day for work and took my little bag home and ate my junk. No wonder I was sick. So you can turn it all around. I did. Of course, the younger you are, the faster you turn around. But it's not saying that no matter what age we are, we can improve. We can
Yeah.
feel better. And you can turn that around by making right choices. And it's just, you're right. Just put it all on the counter or look at it all, get it all out of the pantry and say, I'm going to do something different. And yes, you can live a life with friends and go out, but you can even make wise choices when you go out.
Mm-hmm.
Wiser. Maybe they're not
Yeah.
perfect, but they're wiser. Then, am I going to have the fried chicken or am I going to have the grilled fish? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I going to have breaded fish and chips? Or am I going to have baked chicken and vegetables? Well, I can
Yeah.
still
Or
go,
a good old steak and
yeah,
potato and some,
there we go.
yeah.
Butter.
Um, I wrote a book called Cookie Dough in the Dark. So I had a 3 decades long addiction to sugar. And I still eat sugar, but I don't eat it like I used to, where it was like numbing and just anyway. Um, so and I was sick and I did not want to believe that my food had an impact on me because I didn't want to change because I was addicted to this food. And then one day, actually, it's right after I had children, and I was like, I can't be this person anymore because I am not here for them. I'm thinking about sugar. I'm consumed about sugar. If I eat sugar, I'm like wondering when I can get some more sugar. I'm moody with my kids. I'm snappy. I'm dragging my energy. I was inflamed. I was sick. And I just went, this is not how I see my life. So this is when I wrote my book and I embraced the journey to vibrant living and I completely changed. You can change. I've helped, I have a 79-year-old right now who's lost 30 pounds over the last, couple of years working with me, having fun, not even caring if she lost weight or not because she's just embracing health. So I mean, it has to mean something to you. And I have kids, they're in their 20s now, but I used to write books on healthy snacks for kids, really trying to educate parents about to stop listening to marketing and just make food. So my kids were into sports. We were traveling all the time, and I just took food with us. I made egg McMuffins. I did chili in a thingy, and of course, like in a what are the thermos. And we would still go to restaurants, but I'd be like, okay, eat some broccoli and carrots, and then let's go eat the pizza. Like there's just certain things, and we have an epidemic right now of children and parents. You're in charge of these children, mothers, fathers, grandparents. And I'm just, my heart, we're raising this generation. Please, please just start educating yourself about what you're feeding them because people will say, I don't know why we have so many, obesity or mental decline or issues with children. And I'm like, really?
I know, really.
It's not hard to figure out. It's
Yes.
really, I just am blown away. So you can make some really simple changes for your kids' plate. Um, and they don't take time. Healthy eating does not take time. It's just a choice. It's a choice. Do you have any messages for mothers and fathers with children, grandparents?
Absolutely. What these kids eat has everything to do with their health, their future, their achievement in life, their brain function in school. And it has been proven over and over in scientific studies that when you feed a child good food, they do better. Their brains function better. Their bodies function better. They aren't getting sick. I've talked to numerous parents who said they got on the program, changed their diet for the whole family. One young mom emailed me and said, we started juicing. The kids help her on the weekends. They freeze some juice in jars. She said, since we've started this change, my children haven't been sick at all. We used to always colds and flus, runny noses, coughs. None of that. She said it's all gone. And so many children that have diabetes, are
Oh,
overweight, being diagnosed with obesity, and they're young. This is heartbreaking, and it should not be. It used to be when children ate real food, you didn't see obese children. I mean, maybe one.
I remember two kids in my school. That's it.
Yeah, we had one or two. I think I remember one. Yeah, that was it. The rest of them were skinny little kids. I mean, we had little skinny legs. I remember growing up in Iowa in the snowstorms and little skinny legs hanging out of my coat.
Yeah.
That's what it was. We ate real food. And yeah, I ate desserts. And yes, I ate stuff I shouldn't have, but more of it was real food than
Yeah.
wasn't.
Well, even the packaged food, this is why if you can just reduce the amount of packaged food or do what I said, what's really important to you and just stop the other stuff. The other thing is that when you are starting to eat a more natural diet, your taste buds have really been trained for the bad food.
Mhm.
So when you're going through this transition for adults, children, whatever, go with grace. And I always say practice and play. Just practice and play. See what you like, try it again, work on your taste buds, because there's definitely some things that I had to like adjust as I was going through this. Because at the beginning, I was like, oh man, that's like I can feel, I can taste the difference, but I'm like, just keep going. Just because you try something once and you don't like it doesn't mean, you can't try it again. But what I will tell you is I've raised my children and my husband I'm a very good cook. And if, if I bring something home or they eat out, they are like, oh my gosh, like they can taste the difference. I
Mhm.
buy farm fresh eggs. They can taste the difference between a farm fresh egg and a store-bought egg, right?
Yes.
And so you can train your taste buds to where you want them to go. So again, it's all choices. Anything else you would like to add about seed oils that we may not have covered?
Well, so I just want to go over what the good ones are again and the bad ones because it's so confusing. So the good ones are olive oil and coconut and um, sesame and avocado and almond and macadamia nut. And the ones to avoid soy. And oh, I wanted to say this quickly about soy. Soy is a goitrogen. So people that are using soy oil and soy products, it's having an impact negatively on your thyroid.
Yeah, 85% of products, by the way, are soy or canola oil. 85, it might even be higher. That's the last statistic I read.
Biggest problem.
85% of the foods that are in the store and we eat are soy or canola oil.
And soy is a goitrogen, so no wonder thyroid issues are really on the rise. And yes, so canola is rapeseed. Rapeseed is a huge GMO product, genetically modified. And so that is so bad for your health. It's linked to cancer and all sorts of things. And grapeseed oil, safflower, sunflower, corn, and cottonseed oil, all of those are the ones to avoid. And then America got the message about Crisco and hydrogenated vegetable oils. So now manufacturers are getting smart and they're using a lot of Crisco or that type of hydrogenated oil, but they're calling it the name of the oil they chose to make it from, whether it's soy or canola or corn or whatever. They'll just say vegetable oil or that oil, and you might be getting a bunch of trans fat,
Mhm.
which all of America just about awoke up to that when people started talking a lot about trans fats, but you're still getting it. But they're smart and they don't put that on the label. So read labels, be very aware when you eat out and you have anything fried. Restaurants are big purchasers of Crisco or that type of hydrogenated fat, and they will brush it on food to make it look juicy and sizzly, and it comes out sizzling. And those things are directly related to heart attack. The opposite of what we were told,
I know. It's so
no,
sad to
heart
me.
attack, heart attack causing. And what happened? So back in, and I just wanted to quickly go over a little bit of history. At the end of or during World War II, the ships couldn't get through Southeast Asian waters because of the war. And so we stopped the import of coconut oil. Prior to that, it was marketed as the healthiest oil on earth. It was used in so much American cooking and in food prep, not that there was a lot that people bought pre-made. But during the war, when the ships couldn't get through, the vegetable oil industry saw the great opportunity to step up production. And so after the war, they did not want to lose their market share. And lo and behold, we had a sudden incidence, an increase of heart attack, directly correlated with the increase of seed oils. But then they started doing autopsies and finding that the mounds that were building up in arteries had a lot of cholesterol in them. Well, of course, that's like scabs do as well. And it was like building up to protect the lesions that were created in the arteries. And what created the lesions, the wounds, seed oil. And sugar also stepped up during that time as well. And so then they blamed it on cholesterol and then they blamed it on fat. And nobody ever used common sense to say what really changed. We were eating these fats and oils all along. And suddenly they just started causing heart attacks where they never had for decades, centuries before. And suddenly butter is causing it, beef tallow is causing it, coconut oil is causing it. Nobody asked these questions except for a few voices that were really silenced. They they were professors, scientists, and they were pressured and told if they kept on this track, your papers won't get published, you won't get good positions, you won't be hired, you may be fired from your wonderful position at the university or as the researcher. And so the good voices that were asking the questions got squashed out of fear and pressure from the community around them. And so then advertising really stepped up its message that these are the heart healthy oils. You want to avoid the saturated fats. And bingo, America was scared because, yes,
Fear
people
is a great motivator for change.
here. And they used that to the max and started really promoting the seed oils as heart healthy, clear, beautiful vegetable oils, get rid of these old outdated fats. And common sense flew out the window along with all the slick marketing campaigns and of course the lobbyists as well that were lobbying for the oils. And so here we are today. We are still heart attack, heart disease is number one killer in America, and cancer is right on the heels of that. And it's all directly related to the things that we are eating. And of course, our high stress lifestyle as well. But it's all tied together.
Yeah, it just makes me so sad of how people can knowingly do things that harm people.
Mhm.
And I'm really hoping and I pray and I hope every single day that there are people who look at, I hope they awaken so that their soul shines and they put, which we've gone through one awakening, there's many more coming, but
Mhm.
that people put their heart and the goodness of helping the world level up.
Yes.
Um, and they may, because food is vibration, everybody. Food is frequency. And when you eat food that's not really food, you're pulling your vibration down. Um,
Yes.
that can be a whole other episode. I've
Mhm.
talked about it many times before, but I'm hoping that people, like you said, start to go, you know what? I cannot, from my soul, be in this job or be silenced or be afraid that I'm going to lose a position or money.
Mhm.
I need, I need, like, I have I have a conscience, basically. And,
Right.
right? And so I hope and pray every day. But again, I go back to don't wait. Don't wait for somebody to save you.
No.
Okay? You must take ownership into your own hands. And we have so the Food Babe, for anybody who has not heard of her, and if you haven't heard of her, I don't know where you have been, but she is an advocate for really, she is a heart of gold for really standing up to big companies,
Mhm.
and saying like no more, like you must clean up our food, because for some people that you may or may not know this, but you can buy, so I'm going to say North America because it's the same in Canada and the US. If you have um let's just pick a product that doesn't exist. Let's call it I don't know. Let's just call it A, okay? And you make a product A and you make in Europe the same exact product, but you use better ingredients because they have tighter regulation. And so the Food Babe, Vari, is basically saying, why are we using these ingredients when the UK, Europe is not? All we
Right.
want is for you to put the same ingredients in the food in North America that they have over there because they have much tighter, stringent um, rules about the chemicals and stuff that goes in their food. That's all she's asking. She's trying to just bring that to people's awareness. What would you say to naysayers who are just like, this is like, uh, you know, I mean, actually, let's not even give the naysayers any of my time. So you're either in or you're out. Anyway,
Right.
so I thank you for writing, a book, just bringing this to light and for having this conversation with me. And if this episode resonated, my goodness, please share it with somebody because it's the empowerment and the education and it's the underground like spreading of
Yeah.
just the web to start to make changes.
Absolutely. And you hit on a point that I loved because legislation is not going to save us. Our government is not going to save us. Scientists are not going to save us. And your doctor is not going to save you, probably, unless you're with an integrative nutritionally oriented one, but most of them are not. What is going to save us is us. And just what you said, the grassroots level, spreading the word, talking to your neighbor, your family, your coworker, your church congregation, whatever, wherever you go, wherever you meet, and conversations you have, waking people up or saying, go listen to this podcast. Gosh, it was very informative, but it is going to be voting with our dollar. Just what you said earlier. We don't give them the money. They're going to say, what happened? They're not buying my product like they used to. Maybe we need to make some changes. And so all of that is what is going to change our country, North America, our countries, is us waking up and making good choices and then spreading the word just casually, you
Yeah.
know. I've had those conversations numerous times with friends. Most of my friends are so aware that it's like we're all preaching to the choir. While I do end up talking with someone that didn't understand, was totally what, like, wow, you got to be kidding me. And I've believed this and done this all my life. And how did I not hear? So those are the really encouraging conversations. If you can have one like that where you really wake somebody up, but it's us. We are it. We are the ones that are going to change North America.
Hmm. Thank you, thank you, thank you. On those words, let people know where they can find you, any other information you want to share, and then we'll wrap it up.
So get my it's advanced orders right now. It's just about 30 days away, but you can place an advanced order for the Truth About Seed Oils on Amazon. And you can visit me at juiceladyinfo.com. I've got free booklets, newsletters, free stuff all always coming. Just sign up and you're on the list and you'll get all of that. And you can follow me on Instagram at Juice Lady Cherie, Cherie. I've always got new reels every day coming out with information either on seed oils or juicing at different aspects of health. So I would love to meet you, um, whatever way you want to connect with me. And I just wish you wonderful health, Godspeed, right? Wonderful, vibrant, sparkling health.
Beautiful. Yes, and it is we're speaking from our heart, everybody. We are speaking from our heart. And Cherie, you've written something like 38 books or something. And so it is when you talk to people like you and I who are so passionate about elevating people's health that just feel the warm hug embrace around you right now because we just care about you and
Yes,
your family.
absolutely.
So thank you, ladies, for listening. I will have all of Cherie's info in the show notes. And as always, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with those, your friends, your family, whoever. The more we get this information out, the more people understand it, the more empowered people are. We can change. We can change. And health is everything, everybody. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank account. If you don't have your health, nothing matters. So know that we are on your side to elevate your health. That's it. We love doing that. So thanks again for listening, everybody. And I will see you in the next episode.